Hello and welcome to my final project for CS312. For my project, I decided I wanted to develop an eye mouse, which is essentially a program that uses your webcam to track your eye movement and move the cursor to a point that you're looking at on the screen. So I want to develop this because I think it's a really good demonstration of how computer vision can help those that are not able to use conventional computer controls, such as if you're somehow disabled with your hands or you have some kind of injury, you could use an eye mouse to continue using your computer, albeit probably not quite as productively, but it would still give you some basic use. I also thought it was a really good demonstration of the skills I have learned in this class so far, as well as it would help introduce me to different parts of computer vision and things beyond simple image manipulation. So the libraries I used changed from the start of my project up until the end of the project. You can see up here, these upper four are external libraries. These bottom four here I developed myself as part of my project. OpenCV2 was a given that everyone needed to use for this computer vision course. PyAutoGUI is what helps me to move the cursor, and then dlib is the major one. dlib is a huge library of C++ code that has multiple machine learning algorithms as well as other various things. And what I needed this for was to detect the eyes specifically. I started out using a few different libraries that did different things to detect the eyes, but these did not work for various reasons, one of which I would get to once I open the application so you can see what I'm doing. So the primary issues that I had with this project were detecting stuff in real time. It was difficult to get the program to run at the same time as we were using it, and there was often lag introduced due to the calculations being used to detect the eyeballs. They had to be detected regularly so that we could adjust where the mouse was, because we need to see specifically where the pupils were. What we did was we used a top-down approach. We start by detecting the face, and then we detect the eyes, then we detect the pupil, and then we use some math to determine what part of the eye the pupil is in, and by that we can extrapolate where the user is looking on the screen. Generally, this was fairly simple code. The main issue was doing it in real time so that the user would be able to use it without having to wait several seconds until it updated. So let me go ahead and give you a quick demonstration of the project. We can see it compiles here. It takes just a moment to load. And once it loads, you see that I have several sliders up top here. The first is the threshold. This is used for detecting the pupils, which is an essential part of this, since that's how we know where we're looking. These two controls here, X adjustment and Y adjustment, those allow you to adjust where the mouse is on screen. Depending on your screen size and other factors, the mouse might not have the full access to the entire screen, and so you would need to adjust these so that is able to travel across the entire screen. And finally, the software I'm using does not allow you to do checkboxes or go buttons or anything like that. So our final slider here is the enabled slider. You can simply click on it and it enables the program and it begins to work. So the first thing you want to do when you're booting up this program is you want to move it to the side of the screen so that it can see where the edge of your pupils are. And something very specific to this is it does work on glasses. Some other libraries did not work on glasses without special settings. And you can see those red circles starting to appear around my eyes. The threshold is helping. We need to adjust the threshold so that the program can detect my pupils better and know where I'm looking. So what you want to do, you want to move it all the way to the side, and you want to adjust the threshold to get the most stable circles around your iris as possible. So that is looking pretty good. You can see right here, my glasses reflect blue light, and it makes it a little bit difficult for the program to detect where my pupils are exactly, but it does generally work fairly well. Then I typically move it over to the other side of the screen here, and I do the same thing. And this looks fairly stable already, so I don't think I'm going to adjust it at all. And So what I was doing previously, before I started using dlib, is I used other libraries that would detect the eyes. And what I discovered as I continued developing is the other libraries would detect the pupil and have the eyes centered on the pupil, whereas dlib will detect the various contours of your eyes, such as the corner of your eyes, the exterior corner of your eyes, as well as the bottom lid and the top lid, which allows you to create an actual box around your eye of where it actually is, whereas the other libraries would simply draw a general box around your pupil, which did not work because then the center of the box was always where your pupil was, and so the program would always assume you were looking straight ahead because your pupil was always in the center of the box. So you can see here, once I enable it, you can see the mouse starting to jump around there. As I look left and right, it's not perfect. I think this is partially because the algorithm is not perfect at finding exactly where your eyes are. It changes every now and then, but also your eyes make small movements as you focus on things, which would also make the mouse jump around. To better this project, we'd have to find ways to stabilize the mouse a little bit and help it to stay in one spot more easily, that way it's not jumping around so much. But you can see as I'm looking around, the mouse does move around, and if I want to, I would be able to click on things, so it is occasionally a little bit difficult. In case it stops working, I do have a quit command, which is simply done by pressing the Q button on your keyboard, and that quits the program and allows you to continue. I'm so happy you're able to watch my project today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This project took a lot of work developing and figuring out which libraries to use. Once I switched from library to library, I often had to start the majority of my program over just because of how the different libraries worked and interacted. But I was able to find a library that worked for me in the end, and I am happy with the progress I had made in this assignment. If I had more time, I would love to work on it a little bit more, find ways to make it work better. Specifically, one issue we had is I originally developed this and there was a picture of Jesus behind me, and it would continuously detect the face of Jesus instead of my face, which would then cause problems. And Jesus, it's a painting, so he's always looking at the same spot, and so the program would put the mouse there and it wouldn't move it. And the way I have it currently coded is it only takes one face at a time and uses just that. So that's one thing I would continue working on. I'd also like to stabilize it, as I mentioned before, and find other options, better settings to set up to make it more user-friendly and such. But all in all, I feel I have done a lot of work on this project. I've learned a ton about computer vision by doing this project, and I hope that you enjoyed it too. Thank you so much for watching.